It's washing out down here, Joby. Give me a hand, will you?
Planning on a stag party here tonight? We got women inside.
This ain't no party, Bub. This here's Mr. Jonathan Drager. Pleasure to meet you both. He's the whole works, Bub. He's the president, not just Oregon. The whole damn friggin' union.
Yeah, I think I know that, Floyd. Boy, you sure picked one hell of a night for a moonlight cruise.
Yeah, it is that. But I was working over in Portland today, and I thought I might stop by and chat for a few minutes before we left.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, is it asking too much, old buddy, if we get in out of the rain?
Come on.
No sense in tracking all this water into the house, Floyd. We can talk out here.
Henry, this is Jonathan Drager.
How are you? How you do, sir?
Viv, bring out a couple of six-packs of cold ones, will you?
Oh, boy. This weather up here really plays hell with my athlete's foot. Seems like every time I come up to Oregon, it just crawls right up to my privates.
Hell, I hope the trip will be worth it. Could we cut the fun and games and get to the point?
Well, you're gonna think I'm kind of arrogant, just barging in to plug up the holes, Hank. Is it all right if I call you Hank?
What do you think, Henry?
It's okay by me. He's the boss.
And I was just wondering if maybe you could hold on to everything you've got now and then sell it all later on. Sell it to somebody else, maybe.
Sure. Sure. We tell a kind of company to go screw themselves. I guess that gives us the privilege of selling our logs to somebody else. I get you.
Well, then?
Well, then what?
Can't do that, Floyd.
By God, you've got to do it.
If we got a contract, Mr. Drager, how do you handle that? I mean, that's our word.
I'm sure you gave your word. No, thanks. Listen, I know we've got nothing against you independents. We're not out to put the family operations out of business.
Thanks. Well, that clears that up.
I mean, they're your friends and neighbors. Don't you think you owe them something?
That depends on what they'd owe us if they were on the other end.
Oh, come on now. You know what I'm talking about.
Tell you, see, I don't think I do know what you're talking about. You come on pretty folksy with that athlete's foot and those first names and everything, but why don't we cut through that crap and get straight on it?
That suits me fine, but what am I going to tell you? I mean, you got a town full of people here who are hurting. Now, somebody's going to have to give up something somewhere along the line. Don't you agree?
Henry, you answer that.
Well, now, it just so happens, see, we get ourselves up at 4:30 every morning, go out and chop wood. That's every morning but Sunday for sure and Saturday maybe. Been doing that for a hell of a lot of years with no stink. So, when you were Floyd here, or General Motors, or some commie pinko, or my hound dog tells us we're not going to get up at 4:30, I tell you, you haven't got a whisper of a bare-ass clue what the hell this family's all about. Not a whisper. Nothing.
Well, that's just about as clear a statement of 19th century philosophy as I've ever heard.
Fine, give us a look at the 20th. Look at all the slots and compartments you stash people away in. You're going to tell us when to stop cutting and when to start cutting and who to sell to. And then pat our little bottoms and tell us what good little boys we are. Well, not yet, Bub. Not yet, you know.
I'm only asking you to hang on to the logs you already have.
Let me tell you something. Might gladden your heart and dry up your athlete's foot overnight. You know, we might not make that deadline. We got 3 weeks of the worst logging coming up, and we're liable to fall short. But let me tell you something. We are going to bust our humps trying.
I'm really sorry you feel that way. Every time you open up a paper these days, you read about violence. It's almost as if nothing gets done anymore without it. So, if these people here...
Wait a minute. I think we're down to the gritty, Henry. If you're talking threats, I think you can make them plainer than that. Just what kind of violence do you have in mind?
I'm just pointing out the facts, that's all. Your friends and neighbors here, they say you're strike breaking. You say you're bound to honor your word, so that's the way it stands. Well, I only speak for the union. And we have no jurisdiction over family operations, so the union's out of it from now on. It's between you people. Whatever happens from here on out, the union's out of it. I'm glad to have met you, Mr. Stamper. My father was a good friend of your father's many long years ago.
Huh? What was his name?
Drager.
Never heard of him.
Thanks for your hospitality.
Good night. Well.
Yeah, we better get back to work on that. Yeah, we better get...